country and we don't even know our own policies. I think that's a disgrace to us. Okay, so what do you know about Canadian content? Like with artists and like the whole like TV stuff, like do you know anything about it?
I know Celine Dion. Okay.
Inside HMV, and we're gonna try to find out from people who are actually here buying CDs. Let's see what they know. Do you guys know anything about Canadian content and how artists can be considered as Canadian artists? Any clue? No idea?
They want to separate Canadian music from American music, just like they want to separate Canadian news from American news.
Well, that their radio stations are obligated to play a certain amount of Canadian music on the airwaves.
Yes, otherwise.
That policy's been on for a few years that I know of.
I think that if you have a Canadian birth certificate, then just reduce it back to one aspect of Maple, and then it'll make Canadian content broader, less limited.
I heard Bryan Adams isn't a Canadian artist.
Did you know that Canadian artists have to meet specific regulations in order to be considered Canadian content?
Certain regulations, yeah. Like I know they actually have to be born in Canada, but I don't really know anything beyond that.
No, I am not aware of Canadian content laws.
I think that it's a little bit unrealistic to expect artists to have two of the four aspects.
They are proud to be from Canada and everyone knows that they are from Canada, then that I think is enough for them.
To keep our Canadian culture in our media so that we're aware of it and it's not all dominant with US or other country.
Just assume they have to be from Canada.
I mean, no matter who you work with, it shouldn't change where you're from. I mean, if you were born in Canada and you were raised in Canada and your entire life you've been a Canadian, you should have the right to be able to claim being Canadian regardless of who you do a collaboration with.
Why do you think we have these policies?
To keep Canadian music culture strong and just to so the artists get recognized as Canadian.
Your song has to be either written or produced, so two things, out of this thing called Maple. So other than that, you're not considered a Canadian artist. So
if they're proud to come from Canada even more, then that should be the only really factor that goes into thinking if an artist is Canadian. For example, Justin Bieber, everyone knows he's from Canada, and that's enough, I think, to promote the Canadian music industry, and he made it from Canada, so why shouldn't anyone else be able to?
Here at the Bramalea City Centre, and I printed out a bunch of brochures, and I'm about to hand them out and just talk to people about the Canadian content.
While Canadian recordings take up 35% of programming, their share of the market in Canada is well below this number, at about 14.5%. A major issue surrounding the Canadian content policies today is that broadcasters have shortened playlists and made this programming for Canadian content at off-peak times.